felt this way before. Loving you means so much.
It's Thursday afternoon. Fiona and I have packed up and it's time to go home, so join us as we make our journey from here in Little America's Tenerife back to Liv'n via Glasgow. Jet2 make this massive song and dance about being able to check in at the hotel, get rid of your bags and spend your day without having to worry about checking in your bags at the airport. Yeah, right.
Hi.
Good morning.
Slow down your last day. Check into your flight at your hotel and let us take care of your luggage. Only available with Jet2 holidays. Package holidays you can trust. At all protected.
So what did this marketing hype mean for Fiona and I as we were due to check out of the Coral Ocean View Hotel? Well, very simply, it meant that we had to have our bags down to reception before 9 AM, ready to go to our flight. Nearly 12 and a half hours later. Yes, Jet2, great in theory, reality, absolutely rubbish. So instead, Fiona and I decided to do something rather more leisurely. We made an arrangement with the hotel reception to keep the room for an extra 4 hours for €30. We enjoyed a lovely morning at the swimming pool before having a great lunch and choosing to ignore the free Jet2 coach transfer back to the airport, which would have probably taken another hour after many stops at other hotels picking up guests and dear knows what along the way. All in all, making our last day in Tenerife a lot more relaxing than what Jet2 had to offer. Despite traffic in the taxi, it only took about 20 minutes for Fiona and I to make the journey from our hotel to Tenerife South International Airport.
This way before, all because of you, damn. Do you think he'll treat you better than I did?
I must admit that Spanish airports to me all look pretty much the same. Full of marble, large, airy, and actually not bad places at all. Because we had no option but to check out of our hotel, when we did, we actually arrived at the airport about 4 hours before our flight, and as you can see, the Jet2 check-in area was dead, and I mean, it was very quiet indeed.
Our future was to be together. I was your boy, you were my doll. Oh, you should have stayed with me forever.
We only waited about 15 minutes for the Jet2 crew to arrive and check us in for our flight back to Glasgow, and soon we were on our way through security, which, as you can imagine, I didn't film. But one thing I would like to warn everybody, that actually going through Spanish security is pretty horrendous. Unlike the UK and even the US, where things can be a little bit difficult, here in Tenerife we were forced to remove every electrical item from our bag. That wasn't just our iPads or our laptops, I mean everything electric, everything with a wire had to be removed and put into separate bins. It was, what I must admit, was a pain in the backside. However, still smiling, I think Fiona and I looked for a coffee to kill time before it was time for some dinner. Our flight was at 9:30 PM and we wouldn't be getting back into Glasgow until the early hours of Friday morning, so something to eat was going to be a must while we killed time at Tenerife South Airport. And And just after we finished our meal, it was time to head for the gate. Well, Fiona did manage to get to the gate via duty free, but I don't remember her buying anything. What I will say is the boarding process for Jet2 at Tenerife South left a lot to be desired. Yes folks, it wasn't great. First of all, the boarding groups seemed to be called in reverse order, meaning that those who had paid extra to sit at the front of the plane, like us, boarded last. And then there was the boarding gate emigration process. Unlike most airports in the Western world where emigration is done just after the security check, at Tenerife it is done at the gate. And this added at least another 30 minutes to the boarding process. However, I shouldn't complain because that isn't Jet2's problem, and Fiona and I were soon on the jetty, heading down to the aircraft and our seats for the flight back to Glasgow, which tonight were 1A and 1B. From what I remember, we pushed back only a few minutes late, meaning I was still very impressed with Jet2's timekeeping. And as the sun set over Mount Tidy, we got these amazing views and therefore these great photographs of Tenerife and the mountaintops of La Gomera in the distance to the west. We made our approach into runway 23 at Glasgow at just after 1 AM in the morning. I sort of guessed that the DJI Osmo Pocket would have struggled to take video in the dark, so I'm sorry about the quality of these shots. And of course, touching down in Glasgow means we're bringing 10 nights in Tenerife to a close. So after our first experience with Jet2 flying down to Tenerife and then back again 10 days later, would I recommend them? Yes, I would. The only criticism I have of Jet2 are those incredibly uncomfortable seats. After 4.5 hours, I had an incredibly sore backside. So if Jet2, you're thinking of going long haul, which I believe you are, you're going to have to think twice about your quality and your comfort of your seats. So as we approach UK border, the immigration hall, and therefore passport control, it's time for me to say thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed 10 Nights in Tenerife, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until the next video, keep living the dream.